Welcome to the On Your Side podcast. I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell. Inflation has caused just about everything we buy to go up drastically. We already know about groceries and gas, but what about pet care?
Pet owners say they already pay around $3,500 a year on pet care, but that dollar amount seems to be going up as well.
So today we're talking with Doug Patriquin. He is the co-owner of Dr. Kelly's surgical unit. He tells us how you can keep your pet budget under control.
This is On Your Side with Susan Campbell and Gary Harper, an Arizona's Family Originals podcast.
Okay, welcome to the On Your Side podcast. I'm Gary Harper along with Susan Campbell. Hello, Susan.
Good afternoon.
How's it going today?
It's great. Busy day.
It's always a busy day.
Always a busy day.
I go home sometime and I'm just like wiped. It's like, just running around. We're writing, we're setting up interviews. It's
Makes the weeks go by fast.
That's
we get
true.
to the weekend super
I know.
fast.
It's already Friday coming up here real soon, so looking forward to that. And listen, do you have pets?
I have a cat.
Just one cat?
One really, really cute cat. She's a calico, and she's about a year old, and she's just a ball of energy.
Yeah, a little kitty then, right?
Yeah, we've always had cats.
What kind of cat is she as far as like personality? Some cats are like, leave me alone, go away, I am busy.
No, she's really sweet. She wants to be involved in everything. She loves our kids. Like, she comes in as a part of bedtime every night.
Yeah.
She's a little hesitant with the 4-year-old because he wants to play with her like she's a dog.
Yeah.
And so she's a little reserved around him.
Right.
She makes sure to tell him when she's had enough.
Right.
But she likes to be a part of everything. Yeah, exactly. How about you?
I have 2 Chihuahuas. And
That's fun.
Yeah.
Who are?
obviously
Tell me about them.
very small. One's brown, one's tan. Both cute as a button, but they're your typical Chihuahuas. Of course, they love me the most
Oh,
in
that's
the family. My wife Cindy will totally disagree with that, but yeah. So 2 Chihuahuas, cute as a
How
button.
old?
Well, one of them I think is like 9 or 10, and the other one is about 3.
Cute.
Yeah. So
Does the 3-year-old keep the older one feeling young?
yes, they wrestle all the time.
I love it.
Yeah, they're not chunky monkeys. I mean, they're in good shape, and I walk them, but with them wrestling all the time and chasing each other around our house, they stay pretty fit, which is good because I don't like vet bills.
They get expensive.
Yeah, the kitty. Have you taken him to the vet?
We do the annual checkup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of. I mean, it's got to be done. I mean, but it's
Absolutely. We want to keep our pets
Right.
healthy and safe, right? That's part of our job as pet parents.
our fur babies. So yeah, every year I got to I have to take the dogs in because they have like allergies. When new grass is coming in, they itch like crazy.
Oh,
So
gosh, poor guys.
I know. So listen, that's what we're talking about. The rising cost of pet care and vet care. It's like going to the dentist. You really don't want to go to the vet, but I mean, when it comes time, right? So we're talking to Doug Patriquin. He's the co-owner of Dr. Kelly's surgical unit, which is basically a mobile vet service. How you doing today, Doug?
I'm great. Yeah, thanks for having me.
So you're probably all over the valley with your vet clinic.
That's it. Yeah, we predominantly what we do is a little unique in the veterinary space, such that we specialize in surgery. So your spays, your neuters, and then your mass removals and your dentistry that you touched upon. Other big stuff like amputations or those lumps and bumps that you want to get removed. We have come. My wife and I, Dr. Kelly, and I came from owning other large traditional full-service veterinary practices, which are great and needed. What we really like to get into is doing those high-value surgical procedures and just doing them for a lower fee. And that's what we've made a mark on. And we have 4 mobile units. We don't go to people's houses. We go to a place for the day. We park there. Then you come to us, and we'll do the pre-appointed surgeries and go. We have 4 of those mobile units here in Phoenix, and we also have a brick and mortar in Peoria now. So it's more like a traditional looking clinic where you go into a lobby, but still just surgical services and vaccinations and stuff.
Interesting. That's a really niche business. I haven't heard of something like that before.
Yeah, there are some in the valley, but the more traditional model, which people are used to, which the full service. Anytime your dog is itching or scratching, or to go get that routine vaccine, or other cases, there's lots of those traditional practices across the valley. But we really saw a niche where sometimes those bills can get high, or they're not interested in getting every 6 months going to the vet. Like some people just own their animals and just own them. And then when the time comes and they kind of get sticker shock, they start looking around for other alternatives. And that's kind of where we fit in. We've come from the traditional model. We know that type of service. We narrowed the band of the type of things we do so that we can be a lot more cost effective. And that's what we found. And we've grown. We started in 2016 with one, and now we have 6.
So I was going to say, what does go into some of these costs, as we are seeing cost of pet care and even, the food that we're buying, everything for pets is going up just like inflation across the board. What does go into those bills that we're paying when we do need to go to the vet?
Right. Well, the vet care has the technology and the diagnostics and the stuff that goes into creating the best wellness for your pet has also improved greatly over the last decade or 2 decades. So when you walk into a regular vet practice, they have a lot of expensive equipment, the best of the best, the ERs. The reason those bills are so high is because they really have a tremendous amount of equipment there to diagnose and handle the care of your pet instantaneously right there. And that stuff costs money, and that's just the long and short of it. Another thing is wages. The wages of all employees are rising. And so the cost of that goes up. These are specialized people. Veterinarians go to school an awful long time to do the care they do. The technicians that do the work on the back end are highly skilled, deserve a good wage as well. One thing to consider is that the average student debt load is approximately, like across the US for every student, is about 30 grand. Some come out with zero. I was lucky, to pay my way through, but now it's harder. Veterinarians are over 200,000. So $300,000. I know vets that have come out of school with $400,000 worth of student debt. It's a tremendous cost, that they just have to get paid a wage that affords them the ability to pay that back.
So you said even staff, they have to pay their staff. We have to pay for the high dollar equipment. Have you noticed in the last, say, maybe since the pandemic, did you even have to raise prices?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, absolutely. So the price we started out in 2016 is not the price we charge for the services we do now. We're trying to be competitive in the marketplace, to have the best staff, the best trained people to do the work that we do. We want to educate them, and that costs money. And you need to to be in the marketplace, you have to be competitive, both on the labor side and on the expense side.
A recent report indicated that pet owners usually spend around $3,500 on care. I think that has to do with vet care, grooming, food, and stuff like that. Let's talk about vet care. If people want to get the cost of owning a pet down, what do they do? What can a person do for their fur baby so they don't have sticker shock? Is there like maintenance, like, kind of like taking your car in every once in a while?
Yeah. First, you should start with pets do cost money. So if you're not willing to absorb a certain amount of money each month, maybe a pet for you isn't in the cards. The reality is that they need proper food and good care. They need routine veterinary work, just like you and your children do. So if you're going to take on an animal, you should realize it's going to be an absorption of cost. Now, to save money over the long term, really, just like the care in your car, the best way to do that is to get your routine and preventative care done often. The easiest thing to do is get an inexpensive vaccines for your animals. Rabies is tier 1, of course, but then your others, your parvovirus and your distemper and your bordetella, all ounce of prevention is a pound of cure. If your pet gets some of those diseases, it's awful expensive to take care of. Next step is dentistry, going in for routine dentistry so they clean that stuff off of their teeth just like you need it. If you let that go for an extended period of time, the cost of care only gets more expensive, more extractions, each dental just costs more money. And then I guess on an ongoing basis, if you're just trying to figure out how to save money ongoing, the better food you give your pet, the better health they're going to have. It's amazing how if you feed them a high quality food diet, and you can talk to your local veterinarian or your trusted vet on what that is for your animal, whether it's raw or whatnot. But the less fillers, the higher quality, the overall, the less fat retention there is, the less damage to the liver and internal organs there are. There's some great food out there that costs a lot. There's some great food out there that doesn't cost a lot, but there's some awful food that costs very little, and we just need to shy away from that.
Yeah, I'm the guy who likes to, and this is why I don't buy dog food, because I'm the guy that wants to buy the lowest priced food around, and then my wife is like buying this $25 little 5-pound bag
So your wife steps in and takes the good care of the pups.
She is responsible for their health. Yeah, so she's draining my pocketbook. But like you said, I mean, the better the food, the better the health, the less, I guess, medical bills.
You don't. It's a cost you don't see until you don't realize the savings you're getting. You know what I mean? Just like your routine oil changes on your car, you don't realize it's really prolonging the life of your vehicle. Because if you let it go 10 months without an oil change, all of a sudden nothing's running right. You know, where's the problem there? It just costs more money.
Well, it's just like us. I mean, I would love to have Reese's cups for breakfast, lunch, and dinner every day,
yes.
but I would be in the doctor pretty quickly if I started doing that,
the dentist and, the other doctor.
All kinds of doctors. I would need all of them.
Not a good idea. Hey, let's talk about nails on a dog. People hate to trim their dog nails, and, of course, that's going to be an expense. Is that something that pet owners really need to pay attention to when it comes to their pets' nails?
Yeah, of course. If they're clicking, clacking on the floor, they're probably a little bit too long. You can either trim them off with just a regular nail trimmer, like you might use for yours, or they're shaped quite a bit differently. Ones that we use for my pets, because it seems to be a little less aggressive and a little easier to not get to that part where they start bleeding. The part that everybody's scared of trimming a little too far is you use a little Dremel tool, or they have like a spinning sander style tool for that. You can always take them to your groomer. They tend to trim nails very well as well, or your local veterinarian when you're in there for a routine service. If they get too long, the nail can start to twist the toe, causing a little bit of pain. In extreme cases, it can grow into the pad, and then it becomes a much bigger deal: infection, surgery, things of that nature. That's an extreme case, but keeping your dog's nails trimmed is a healthy thing to do.
It's pretty risky to do it yourself, but if you want to save money, you can. But I know a lot of dogs just don't like their nails cut.
Right. Yeah. And then when you're going to do it yourself is a good way to do it is just do a little bit at a time. Get your dog used to the process. The earlier you start, the easier it is. Don't stress them out by trying to do all of them at the same time. If they're not into it, maybe do one at a time, extend it out. And over time, as you realize it's not too detrimental to their health, they might get used to it. But if it's just not for you, you're a groomer or your veterinarian will help you. No problem.
Let somebody else do the dirty work. Let them take the blame. What's the going price for a nail trim?
If we were to do it and adjacent to one of our surgeries, we charge about $5 for that. It's connected to a surgery, so that's how we're able to charge so little. A groomer might charge somewhere between $10 and $25. A veterinarian probably in a similar place. If you were going in just to do a nail trim, say if you got to an extreme case, there might be a sedation charge in addition to the number of technicians or staff necessary to do that work. It could be over $100, $150. But that's an extreme case. Most of the time, it's in the somewhere between $10 and $40, depending where you go.
Yeah, we're not talking about a full, manicure and pedicure. Okay.
This line of questioning tells me that Gary needs to take his dogs to the groomer, and he's thinking about the nails.
I do. You know why? Because we tried to trim them, and it's an impossible task because they're freaking out. They don't know. They think that you're going to cut their foot off, I guess. And I'm definitely afraid that I'm going to go, too much.
Too far, yeah.
Too far. And that's, gosh, it just makes me.
That would be awful.
It's awful.
Yeah.
So what about your cat? Has he been declawed?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't really declaw cats anymore, Gary.
Really?
No.
Why?
Because it's bad.
Really?
Yeah. I don't even think there are veterinarians that do it anymore.
Are you calling me old school?
I am. Yeah.
Really?
I'm sorry.
Doug, is that true?
There are veterinarians who do it. There are some cases in which that is a reasonable thing to do. We absolutely do not do that. And the reality of it is it's basically an amputation of the last digit of the cat's fingers. And so that, although warranted in some aspects, is highly discouraged in almost every case.
Am I going to have PETA coming off after me now? I mean,
you might. I'm a little nervous for you after this one.
Okay, I'm very nervous now.
He doesn't own a cat, folks.
I don't.
There's no cat. It's fine. He's fine.
Oh my
cat has the claws. Everything's good.
Well, I've learned something.
You do that because you don't want them scratching and damaging your furniture and your carpets.
Right.
One of the other expenses that you don't think about with pets is they make a mess. They pee on things you don't want them to. They chew up this, that, and the other thing. And the reason you might want to declaw cat is for that reason. And there are like little plastic inserts you could put over your cat's nails to soft paws to make it so they are less likely to damage something. But at the end of the day, between a dog and a cat doing damage, it's usually, I mean, I'm not a trainer to be fair, but a lot of times what I understand is it's a behavior. They want to be busy with something. So you give them something else to be busy with. Either you have to walk them a little more often if they're an energetic breed, or maybe they're more interested in toys. So you buy them the right type of toys and chew things that would keep them busier than chewing on your couch.
What are some of the things, when we're talking about inflation, what are some of the things that you have noticed for your business that have gone up maybe more dramatically than others?
And that you had to pass on to consumers.
Right. Well, we're a service-based industry. Our number one expense is labor at the end of the day. So as you're realizing that people can't afford their rent or that food is going up and the passing on of some of the pandemic costs, we have to make sure that we're treating our staff correctly. For a while there, medical equipment spiked tremendously during the pandemic when things stopped shutting down, like syringes or tape or some of our medicines that we provide for anesthesia. Either you couldn't get them, they're on back order, they got quite expensive. Some of that stuff is tempered down quite a bit now. The costs are regulated out, but at the end of the day, as a service business, our number one expense is the people that do the quality people that do the work.
I realize now we both talked about our animals. Do you have a pet?
Of course. I'm married to a veterinarian. It would be very difficult for us to not have one or two. We have 3. We have 2 dogs and 1 cat, although I'm constantly being pestered to get that second cat in here. I feel like we're a 1-cat household, but me and my wife and 2 kids, our 2 sons are adamant that we need another.
What kind of dogs are they?
Well, they're rescue dogs, little mix of things. Mm-hmm. One looks like a Rhodesian Ridgeback, so it's kind of a copper color, medium to large size dog. Second one it looks like a little mini pit bull thing, about 30 pounds, but basically looks like a little pocket pitty. Just gorgeous.
I have a feeling those are probably some of the most cared for animals in the valley. You know, they're probably very healthy, very fit.
They're lucky.
They're very lucky.
It's kind of like the barber having messy hair, they're always taking care of somebody else's pets. I'd love to say our pets, I mean, they're obviously well cared for, but do they get everything they should have given the nature of the work we do? I would be lucky.
No.
I love it.
All right, Doug, listen, thanks so much for talking with us. If people want to look at a website or social media platform, you got any?
Yeah, of course. Very easy. So we're Dr. Kelly's Vet, which is DrKellysVet.com. If you just type in low cost vet in Phoenix Market, you'll see us on the top page.
All right. Take care of those dogs for us. And
the cat.
Well, and the cat, that's for sure. And then I'm staying away from cats because apparently, I've been doing something wrong. So
you learn something new every day.
I certainly did. All right, Doug, have a great day. Appreciate you.
Yeah, Susan, Gary, thanks so much for having us on.
The On Your Side podcast is produced by Brad Denny. Our audio engineer and editor is Todd Martin. Segment producer is Colin Stanton. And I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell. If you have a problem you can't resolve, maybe we can. Send us a message through azfamily.com or our AZ Family mobile app. Look for the On Your Side section and leave us a message. Thanks so much for listening to the On Your Side podcast. And if you like it, leave us a review. We'll see you next week.
On Your Side is on Good Morning Arizona every weekday morning at 6:45 and 7 o'clock, and every weekday evening on Good Evening Arizona at 4 and 5 o'clock. You can also catch it on Arizona's Family News at 9 on 3TV every weeknight.